Welcome to Intuitive Seek. My name is Mary Train, and as an intuitive guide, energy healer, and meditation teacher, I aim to bring you a grounded approach to all things energy and intuition. Everything I share is with the hope to help you remember how your unique power of intuition is your own greatest teacher. Hello and welcome. Welcome to your intuitive week and your energy update for the month ahead. This is about August, the full month, 2026, and I will also touch on the week ahead for August 3rd, any specific focused insights that I received. Welcome back to everyone who has been here before, and welcome to anyone new. For anyone who has not listened before, and a reminder for us all, the way that I receive these energy updates is I go into a really nice, deep meditation with the intention to receive insight, guidance, symbolism, messages, anything that I can translate through my intuition with as much clarity as possible for us, for you and I, to move through the month and the week with more intention and attention to challenges, but also opportunities. I will share what came through in the meditation, and then I will share the animal that is inspiring us. And then I will also share some journal prompts, soul questions, ways for you to dive even deeper into the energy and deeper into what you need to know for yourself. Now, the most important thing about these energy updates is for you to trust what resonates and leave the rest. Use these as a way to develop the language of your own intuition, of your unique language of intuition. So trust when something resonates, trust if you are receiving a different interpretation, trust when it doesn't resonate. Really know that you are the intuitive that you need. And these are just helping you get closer to that. So trust what resonates and leave the rest. And I will share that the spaces for August for my 4-month journey called The Key are filled. And if you were curious, I will be opening up one more space in September, but we'll talk about that when we get closer to it. And I also have a few new things coming in. So we'll talk about that over the next few weeks. But for now, let's get into August 2026, the energy update for the month. And then I will share some focused insights on the week. So when I first opened up the meditation, there were vines kind of wrapped in front of us, not on us, but almost like a wall that was in our way. It was like blocking our path, but it was very green and bright, but it was blocking our view. And it almost felt like something that we have been nourishing or giving a lot of energy to, feeding, is not helping us anymore. And what we did is we started to pull the vines down and apart, and not in an urgent way. It felt more intentional than that. It felt like we were very easily, but intentionally, breaking free, clearing the overgrowth of these vines, and our path became open again. It was easy to do, but it did take some effort. And then I heard the message for August. The message that came through was the gifts of August require your strength to receive. And then we walked in this new open path towards and into a very brightly lit spring of water, shallow but full. So we stepped into it only just a little bit above our feet, and it was reflecting the sun. It was clear water, but very sparkly. And we stepped into the spring and we saw our face reflected. And it felt like part of the strength that is required for this month will give us the opportunity to see ourselves in a whole new way, in a whole new light. But because of the sparkly aspect of the reflection, it didn't feel like we were only receiving the reflection. It felt like we were also being seen in new ways and in a new light. And we may have that opportunity this month. That may be part of the gifts, but it will require our strength to receive it and to be received, maybe. And then we stayed standing in the water. It felt so grounding and very calm. And I felt a strong spotlight, like the water was activating, almost like it was a conduit for our heart space. The spotlight was on our heart. And by standing in the water, it was almost bringing it to life, the energy we had in our heart. And the water can often be symbolizing our feelings and our emotions, our emotional energy. So it felt like a reminder to pay attention to when you are grounded, when you are not. How can you move back into a grounded space? How can you feel your feelings without being swept away by them? And how that can help to support the energy of your heart to open. And there was so much movement going on in our heart space. So, a deep focus in August to anchor into our heart energy. Maybe this is where our strength can be remembered, that we can reconnect in new ways to how deeply powerful and wise our hearts are. Maybe remembering that the gifts we receive this month, maybe they're part of how we tend to and care for our hearts. Maybe that wasn't what we were nurturing before. Maybe that is part of the overgrowth of the vines that we moved through. Maybe we need to redirect what we're feeding back to our hearts. Maybe how we give from our hearts and how we receive. Maybe this month you want to begin each day with, I am open to give and open to receive. To set some kind of intention for reciprocity. Maybe you've been too focused on what you want to receive and not what you can give or offer, or vice versa. Maybe there's an imbalance, and maybe that's part of the gifts of August require our strength to receive. Maybe part of the strength is in the knowing of what is off balance, what needs to be corrected. And that takes trust. And trust takes strength to not allow doubt and fear and indecision to override what you really know from the depth of your strengths is true. And I'm feeling that those strengths required this month to receive the gifts is actually connected to our gifts, part of that reciprocity again, to our unique skills and talents, to the strengths we carry that we may have forgotten, completely forgotten that we have. Maybe we even take for granted. Maybe it's something that comes so easily to us that we don't even recognize them as strengths. So, what are they that maybe you have forgotten? And how can you nurture them? And are these the missing piece of what you have been searching for? Maybe it's that simple, that it's right in front of you and you've forgotten until now. And that is what August is going to offer you to remember what you already carry and how strong your gifts and abilities and talents and deep, unique skills create for you, how strong it makes you. And then the next thing that came through was we reached up. So we moved out of the water, started walking onto the ground ahead of us, and we reached up and we caught a white flag. And right away, this felt like a symbol Waving the white flag, surrender, but also it felt like forgiveness. Forgiveness and surrender were the words that felt connected to the waving of the flag that we caught with our hands, with both hands, giving and receiving. So this month, for some of us, forgiveness could be a theme that needs our attention. And for some of us, surrender, releasing our grip on how we need everything to be, releasing the control of exactly what we need things to be and happen and the people around us to do. And everything that we feel gives us certainty, but actually is constricting the path ahead of us, constricting the opportunities. And maybe it's both. Maybe those are both part of the strength that we need to remember this month. So, where could forgiveness be helpful as you move through the month ahead? For yourself, forgiveness that you need to give to yourself, and maybe forgiveness that you are finally ready to offer to someone else. And where do you need to let go of control? This is all ways of making space and clearing away what is stopping you from moving ahead on this more open path. To be seen, but not only be seen, but see yourself in a new way. A big shift in identity, it feels like. Shifting back into who you really are. So we turned back to the water, and instead of reflecting us, it was reflecting the first part of the path that we had just walked. And I could see reflected the vines that we moved through and took down. And what we did is we tapped our right foot, our foot of action. We tapped it on the water to break up the reflection, to bring back a clarity. And this really felt like a symbol of leaving the past behind, and maybe the very recent past. But a symbol of leaving the past behind, something that needs to be finally taken out of our reflection. That we will have the opportunity to release the image of what was, and we are ready to move into our future. That this month we might not realize how much has changed until we look back and see how far we've come and see that that reflection is not supporting us anymore. That we need to be seen as who we are now and who we're moving into, and also see ourselves that way. How strong we are, how talented, how special and unique, how gifted, and to have those gifts, they need to be given. But also, how much we've moved through. So August does feel like a month of reflection, but also change and grounded action and release. It doesn't feel simple, but it does feel like we know how to do it, and that it will continue to feel more and more expanded and open as we trust ourselves to move forward and release what we do not need anymore. Because the next thing in the meditation was focusing on the wide space that had opened up and expanded in front of us, that we are standing on the other side of something. And it feels like by the end of this month, we will be standing on a firm path that is so open and expanded and ready for what is next. Because we will have that feeling too. More space than we have had and felt in a long time. More space to give and receive. But only if we move through and with the growth. that we feed and nurture what is needed now, that we stand in the water, our emotions and our feelings, stand in how our light is reflected, how we want to be seen, and how we feel seen. Reflect, let go, forgive. It's a big month. And then the animal came through. And in August, because it's my birthday month, it's on the 19th, I always kind of think, oh, maybe it's the lion will come through, big Leo season energy, but it wasn't the lion. It was on the wide, expanded space of the path ahead, this beautiful, bright, shining, but small green scarab beetle, which we haven't had since the beginning of March, exactly 5 months ago. In five, I wanted to share that because when I reflected on that, 5 months ago is when we had it, and five is the number of change. And that's what this month feels like. So, seeing how much has changed since March, but also getting ready for more of that change, moving towards it. And as I share more about what the beetle represents, the scarab beetle represents the themes and the energy of, really trust what it connects to for you, where it points to in your life, what you're reminded of by one of the words or a few, but trust how the scarab beetle is inspiring you. So, this green scarab beetle represents the energy of new beginnings, rebirth, transformation, synchronicities, good luck, abundance, fertility, protection, resilience, strength, sensitivity, and intuitive perception. And in my intuitive animal oracle, which some of you have guessed, and I will share that yes, I am working on an oracle card deck for them along with the guided journal. And I will keep sharing more as it starts coming together. But it is number 10, 10 reducing to a 1, and 1 in numerology being the number of new chapters, new beginnings, change. And the intuitive animal is the scarab beetle of fated change. And I wanted to share an excerpt about the scarab beetle of fated change from my intuitive animal oracle. And this felt connected to August, but also as I connected to specifics for the week, this felt like, okay, the beetle is really coming through for the first week of August and the whole month, but a very much focused energy for this week ahead. So inspiring us for the month and the week. Right now, more opportunities are opening up for you to see the reflection of your beautiful light so that a new path or direction in your physical or inner world can be lit up. You may experience some resistance to receiving your unique power this way, but allow yourself to pay attention to this resistance. It might be your energy calibrating and preparing you to expand into new, unseen possibilities. Look for signs and synchronicities. Trust the winds of change are guiding you towards the path you are meant to walk. Let your heart light up to what is true. Bring love to any doubt. How can you be extra loving to yourself, especially when you feel some discomfort standing in your authentic shine? And I love that it's already connected to synchronicities, but everything that came through in the meditation, the animal comes towards the end of the meditation usually. So I didn't get into the meaning and look up my intuitive animal until after writing down all the details, and how much connected to everything that I already shared. So to me, that's a beautiful synchronicity. And how your intuitive week of August 3rd feels so connected to this energy of the beetle, to the transformation and the synchronicity and the abundance and the protection and the intuitive perception. And that we are focusing on moving anything overgrown or outgrown. We are clearing the way. That's what it feels like for the first week, to focus on that first part of the meditation. So anything that feels like it is blocking our way for this week of August 3rd, how can you make more room? What needs to be cleared? What have you given too much energy to, fed too much that it's overgrown, and now literally in your way? Or metaphorically, or figuratively. What is the first thing that comes to your mind? Like, really trust it. Is it a habit that you feel you need to let go of? Is it a more rigid way of thinking that you need to clear away? Is it a literal physical thing that you need to donate, like clothes or things from the past that just don't fit into your present or your future? This week really feels like a time for clearing away what is overgrown that you have been giving way too much energy to. And now it's time to do that because there is a fresh start that is needed. So begin there. What needs space and a fresh start? And because the scarab beetle is so connected to synchronicities, it's because of Carl Jung's work in coining the phrase of meaningful coincidences, because he had a patient describe a dream where there was a shining scarab beetle. And then as the patient was describing it to him, he heard a tapping on the window and he opened the window, and there was a literal, physical reality, waking life, shining scarab beetle, which he picked up and gave to the patient, apparently. And the event really helped the patient break down her rational thinking and connect more to the truth of her dream world, speaking to her waking life. So, a very intuitive way of reconnection. And the image of that scarab beetle that had appeared in the patient's dream then appeared at the window and triggered such positive change that he coined the phrase meaningful coincidences. Open yourself up to the awe. Trust in the synchronicities. Stay grounded always. Don't get swept away by the signs and synchronicities, but allow yourself to trust the story that it shares with you. Trust how it's leading you. Trust how it wakes up your intuition. So this week, really look for the meaningful coincidences, because maybe they're pointing to what the strength is that you need to remember that is required to receive the gifts of August. And now let me share some journal prompts, some soul questions to help you dive deeper into the energy. Really trust which ones resonate. And you can answer these in a journal traditionally, pen and paper, or you can answer them in a voice note to yourself, or you can kind of ponder them when you're on a walk and just kind of talk to yourself. Like, use them in any way that helps you connect deeper to your inner knowing and open up what you need to know. I'm giving us 5. So, number 1, what strengths of yours do you need to remember? What skills, talents, gifts, abilities? What have you forgotten? What needs to be remembered? And number 2, how can you nurture these strengths? And number 3, where in your life do you need more forgiveness and surrender? And number 4, what have you outgrown that needs to be cleared away? And number five, where is your heart guiding you right now? And that brings us to the end of this episode of Intuitive Seek for your month of August 2026. I would love to hear if you resonated with anything that I shared about the energy for the month or the week ahead, and also any other thoughts or questions, your own interpretations. I love connecting with you. So do not hesitate to send me a message. Just go to the show notes. Everything is there that you need to connect with me. And if you haven't already, please subscribe or follow wherever you get your podcasts. And if you feel called to give some extra support, you could share this episode with a friend, or you could leave a review. That is so helpful. So, thank you so much again for listening. Be extra kind to yourself and others, and I will talk to you next week.
Hi, Auntie Mary. I just wanted to say something very, very meaningful.